So we're going to go ahead and set up our specific heat lab. Put my goggles on and my hair is tied back because we will be using a Bunsen burner today. So we're going to go ahead and first set up our heating apparatus. It might take a long time for water to boil. So we're going to grab a ring stand from underneath the sink. To make it go a little faster, we're going to use the Bunsen burner. So we're going to go ahead and grab a ring, piece of wire mesh, then we're going to go ahead and grab the Bunsen burner. That's going to go underneath here. Okay. And then we want to grab enough water. It says around 100 milliliters. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my 250 ml beaker. So it says 250 milliliters on the beaker itself. So we're going to grab 100 milliliters of water. And I grabbed 100 milliliters of water. The less you have, the faster it'll boil. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our striker. We're going to turn the gas on. So we have a little nozzle here. We want to make sure it is parallel, meaning lined up with the gas line. If it's perpendicular, that means it's turned off. So we're going to turn it on. You should hear a hissing noise, so you should listen. If you don't hear anything, that means you need to open up the gas line a little bit. So now you can really hear it. I'm going to use my striker. Now I have a blue flame. This is a little tall, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make this shorter. So the little thing at the bottom here, that's going to go ahead and adjust the height. So you want a blue flame that has a light blue core. That means it's really hot, which you probably can't see in this video. But now we have a good flame. Let me go ahead and move this over. And you want it to where this flame is touching the wire gauze square, or else it's going to take forever. So mine is a little short. I'm just going to make it a little taller. And then I'm going to heat my water. And we're going to wait till this is at a rapid boil. So that means it's at 100 degrees. You can check with your thermometer if you aren't sure. Now we're going to go ahead and set up our LabQuest. This is a LabQuest. It's a little digital computer. We just want to be as close as possible with our data. So these things can turn off quickly. So we're going to go ahead and plug it in. And then we're going to go ahead and turn it on just by pressing the power button at the top. We're going to go ahead and plug in our temperature probe. So just into any of these channels here. I just normally choose channel 1. Press it until it's secure. And now you'll see that it's actively reading the temperature. So we're currently at 18.2 degrees in the air. On the top here, I'm going to click on mode. And then I want the duration. Instead of to be 180 seconds, I want it to be 1800. So I changed it to 1800 seconds. I'll click OK. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this off to the side just for a second. Now we need to measure out exactly 50 milliliters of water. This is very important because we're going to be using 50 milliliters, which is equivalent to 50 grams of water, because 1 milliliter of water is equal to 1 gram of water. So in my plasticware drawer, you go ahead and grab my 50 ml graduated cylinder and get it just to where there's something called a meniscus. It's like a curvy part of the water. I want to measure at the bottom of that and get it exactly at 50 milliliters. So I have exactly 50 milliliters of water, just room temp from the tap. This is my calorimeter, fancy clear plastic cup, foam insulation, and styrofoam cup. So basically keeps as much heat in as possible in a high school chemistry class. So we're going to go ahead and pour the water into here. And then we have a lid for this just so that heat doesn't escape. It's just a styrofoam square that has a hole in it. I'm going to put that on the top. This is our calorimeter setup. And then we're going to go ahead, place our temperature probe in there, making sure that we're reaching the water. And this will give us our water's starting temperature, which is at 17.9 degrees Celsius. That's what our LabQuest is reading. We have 2 metal samples here. The first one we're going to do is copper. Obviously, it looks like copper. And the second one we're going to do is aluminum. So our first, this is metal sample 1. And the mass is 56.07 grams. So you can record that in your data table. And then for aluminum, it is 16.93 grams. We now have a rapid boil on our water, and I checked it with our temperature probe. It's 100 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and put my copper sample in. I'm going to grab some crucible tongs. You can also just go ahead and drop it in. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and set a timer for 3 minutes. You can do that on your Chromebook with your Chromebook stopwatch, or you can do it on your phone as long as you use it responsibly. But 3 minutes will allow us just to make sure that it has, the metal itself has actually reached 100, because some will reach 100 quicker or slower, but we just want to make sure it will eventually reach 100, and 3 minutes guarantees that. So we're going to wait 3 minutes. All right, it has now been 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and collect our metal sample, and we're going to very, very quickly move the metal sample from the water into the calorimeter. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click play on my LabQuest so I can start collecting data. I click play. I'm just going to lift the lid, grab my metal sample, bring it over, put the lid down. All right. And then we're just going to wait for that to reach its maximum temperature. And the LabQuest luckily will do all the work for us. So our next step is to prep our next lab experiment. So we're going to do this with aluminum as well. So I already told you the mass of aluminum. I grabbed another 50 milliliters of room temperature water that I'll use to replace the water in here, because this water is going to be obviously warmer. We want it back to room temp. We're going to go ahead and place this into the boiling water to get it as well at 100 degrees. It doesn't matter if it's in there longer, because it can't reach higher than 100 degrees because the water is set at 100 degrees. That's as hot as water can get. So put it in there. We're just going to let it do its thing. And we're going to wait for this LabQuest to read a maximum temperature. So once it starts to level out or starts to decline, we'll just read that maximum temperature in our data table. So it looks like it has reached a maximum temperature of 24.2. So we're going to go ahead and click stop. Aluminum, so we're going to go ahead and take out this metal sample. We're going to dump out the water, and we're going to put some new water. So that's just 50 milliliters of room temperature water. It should be around the same initial temperature. I'll wait for this to stabilize. It is reading 18.7 degrees for our initial temperature, which is around the same as what our other one was. So now we're going to go ahead and quickly and carefully move the aluminum sample from there into here, just like we did last time. I'm going to press play first to make sure I begin collecting data. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tilt this off, keeping it in the water. Grab the aluminum. Drop it in. Go ahead and wait. Looks like we've reached a final temperature of 22.6, so we're going to go ahead and call it. So 22.6 degrees Celsius is the final temperature.